Hi everyone, and welcome to this Christmas edition of a video. So I'm actually using the October kits from Scrapping Fun Kits, and there is a blog post down below if you want to check that out and other projects that other design people have made. But I thought I'd share this video just so that you could see the footage and you could get a bit of, hopefully it inspires your mojo, but also maybe you might learn something. So I'm thinking all these lovely 3D embellishments on the October kit from Scrapping Fun Kits, which I believe there still are some if you want to get your hands on, but there's also the December daily documented kind of kit if you want to check out the links below. And I thought the 3D textured items in this kit would be perfect to make some charms for my 2017 album, which I have not completed. I like to, I don't like the pressure of documenting every day in December because you're already quite busy. I like to just do a big catch up every now and then, and sometimes, like last year, got quite busy with work, and so my plan was to do it this time next year, and that way I could use any embellishments that I wanted, but also I could do it in a time frame that suited me. Anyway. So I covered a little tag that I got with this big tassel. So this tassel actually is from a shop in Canberra. I can't even remember where it's from. And then, but this Santa hat, I put a hole in it because I thought I could use that to thread the thread through and hang it as a charm. But I don't think it's strong enough. So I have a little try, gluing it here to make sure that that part becomes a bit sturdier. But you will see it does hold, but I'm scared that it won't have much longevity to it. So I do end up not using it in that way. If there's a way to make it more sturdier, can you just comment below and let me know, because I do like the idea, and these little cute little Santa hats I've got a couple, and if I can hang them like charms like that, it would be very cute. So you can see it looks really cute. Look at that. But then I, chicken out and I'm worried that it's not going to hold its sturdiness and do it differently. So I brought some bells as well. Whenever I brought, I remember from the hobby sew shop. So it's more of a quilting place. I found those tassels. I also found these bells, and I'm going to thread them on this tag. So this tag came on the tassels. I've covered it with the washi tape that we got in the collection, and then I've added one of those green flowers to a part where I did take the price off. So that just covers that and gives it a lovely little 3D texture to it. And then I've added 3 bells because 3 is the lovely number, and that is very cute and it makes a lovely little sound. So just making sure that it's glued on. You do have to hold wet glue onto washi a little bit longer just because of the surface. So here's where I realised that it's just not going to be strong enough to hold, and instead I change it up, and I really love the way that I ended up doing it. So there's this lovely big silver flower, this homemade tulle flower, and I'm thinking, what if I put the hat there? I'm going through and I'm thinking a lot about it because it's such a big change that I wonder whether that's what I want to do. So here we are. We're going to, nope, I thought I was committed then, but apparently I'm thinking I could still do it. So I have a little play, but then I realised if I put it on this flower, on this paper here, that would be. So obviously I'm forgetting about the flower at the moment, but I do come back and use the flower. So I use my my circle punch, and I'm going to add this paper here. I really didn't want to cut into this paper, but I really do like the way that it turned out, so it's okay. So I'm going to lay the paper on that cardstock just so it's a little bit sturdier, and I'm considering whether I should use wet glue or double-sided tape, but wet glue will mean that it's at the edges. It's a bit hard to put double-sided tape at an edge on a circle. So just going to back that with the paper here, and that's going to be the front. And I'm thinking that that is going to hold the flower wherever it went. Not the flower, the Santa hat, and that is going to make it much more sturdier. So on goes some more wet glue, and I'm just going to stick it to that, and that way it's not flipping and flopping, and it's much more secure, and it's going to add that lovely little pop of text. So that paper actually is the story, or part of the story of the night before Christmas. I need to hold that hat down so that it sticks. Nothing was holding it though, because it is a bit lopsided. Put on some of this lovely red bling. Still holding the hat because it's going to I need a minute to dry, and then I'm just discovering, that's not the word. I'm going to start adding a little bit of the title, so it's going to be 2017, remembering that this is for the spine of that album, and then I will do an outline, a doodly outline on that circle. But I'm thinking I can do this while I'm holding the hat down to glue it, and then I'll come in with the pen and do the outline, just so that it doesn't, like, it just defines the shape rather than it being something that doesn't have an edge that's really defined. So I'm actually doing a dotted line, and that is the border. That way it doesn't stand out as the only thing happening on that embellishment, or the main thing happening. It more is just a subtle touch to make it stand out and be the way it needs to be. So I'm trying to work out what else I need to put on, or what I would like to put in this cluster. I'm thinking this flower is so nice and chunky that I don't want to put it in my album and it be squashed. I want it to go on the outside there. So I'm going to thread through some of this twine and make it its own hanging embellishment. So just using, this is actually what I use to poke holes when I'm making a traveler's notebook or a junk journal. So that just helped me thread it through, and you can see that it just sits so nicely. Just going to tie it all off, and that is going to be my flower embellishment part of those charms. So I'm trying to think about height as well with the charms. I don't want everything all to be at the same height. I want it to be slightly a little bit off skewered in height so that they all stand out as their own awesome, cool charm, rather than it all being big cluster that you have to, touch to move and things like that. I want to be able to look at my shelf and see this album and see these lovely charms hanging from the side and be able to see it all in its glory. So this rickrack trim here with the pom-poms I really love, and I try and make it work as well. Now here's where I realise that if I put them back to back, that it ties them in so nicely, and it gives it such a lovely border to that circle embellishment with the hat on it, and it means that it will sit nicely rather than being two big embellishment charm clusters that are, fighting each other for space on my spine of my album. So my album is actually an 8x8 gold glitter album that I just picked up cheap a few years ago from Spotlight, and I'd had many ideas and it hadn't come to be used, and I just thought this would be a good size. I like the 8x8. I do it, but I don't do it all the time. So I think 8x8 is it's a square format, but you could also include in that album 6x8, 3x8. There's so many different combinations that you could use. You could cut down your page protectors. You could use the 6x8. They've got lots of different, different page protectors with different configurations. The 8x8 also has different pages with different configurations that you could use as a whole or cut down to be smaller. So I thought that would be nice. And also, an 8x8 photo in its entirety is something that you could print on your home printer on an A4 piece of photo paper. So that's my ideas behind the reasoning why this size is perfect for me to document 2017. And I know I'm up to 2018, but like I said, I like to post scrap rather than scrap in date all the time, just because that pressure is not always welcome at the especially in December when it's quite crazy. Anyway, so what I did was I've opened the spine. I have looped in some thread, so you could see that I used the top ring bind part, the inside ring, to loop on the charm, and that's how I actually label all my normal albums. So because when you are starting your album, you don't know if they're going to be 6 albums like last year's Project Life and Traditional Pages. I ended up with 6 albums, and if I'd labelled the first one just 2017, then I'm not going to be able to label the others, in the same manner. So what I do is I loop, I put some twine on a tag, I write 2017, I write the boys' ages, so I write P for Patrick and write, so last year or this year, I would have written 2018 P equals 12 years, O equals 10 years, and then I put the numbers if there's more than one. So that way those tags keep me organised until I finish the albums. Then I can go in and make some more, some charms or some more, permanent spine labels, if that's what I'm thinking. So I realised that I actually needed to take it out of the ring binder to loop the charms on before I attached it to the ring. So here I am, I pulled them out after I've had a play with the spine and realised, and I'm just working on the finals of what I'm going to keep in terms of these charms. So like I said, I try this rickrack a bit, but then I decide it's just too much and it doesn't stay there. And I've got the tassel, I've got that tag from the pricing that I've added, the washi, the bells, and that lovely green flower. I've also got this big silver flower that I've added, that round embellishment that's got the Santa hat on it and the date, and I'm liking the way these are all going together. I did pull out that flare button because I thought that might be a way to hide the attachments, like where they all attach, but it's not what I needed. It will go in my album instead. So I'm trying to work out, it's a bit bulky when you're recording, so sorry about that. So I'm just going to tie it off so that I can attach it to the ring. Whoop. And that way I'm going to open the ring and hang it off there. This way you can change it out. You could even make it that it stays in the album rather than it being a spine. So if you wanted it as your front page, or even part of, you're just flipping through your page and you have some embellishments hanging, then that could be definitely something you can do. So you can see there, I'm just positioning them all so they all can be seen in a way that looks appealing to me, and that's where I realised that the Rick Rack, 1 is a bit short and 2, it's just not going. So I do try with a longer one, but then I decide against it and instead going to use it in my album. So you can check out the next project that will be up on my channel using this October kit as well. So as we're finishing up, I know you can't really see too much of me, of the charm at the moment. It's more about me trying to work out. So you can see there's the flare button. I was thinking, should I put it there and it will hold it still in terms of on the edge there? But then I realised it was just too much. I like the free-flowing effect of the charms rather than it being, stuck in a spot where I might not necessarily want it to be for the rest of its life. So just adding finishing touches of glue, then we'll go to some close-ups. If you've enjoyed this little bonus kind of video, sorry it is a bit late, obviously I'm using October kits, but like I said, there's still some kits available and some newer ones with the December Daily documented kit. So check out the links below and get your hands on some goodies so that you can document all your Christmas memories this year. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
When the clock is striking 12, when I'm fast asleep.